sense. So here we're going to go ahead and follow T T T T T T T. Alright, T. So we're following the blue Zerg T. This is going to be part 3. My name is Mr. Llama. Thank you everybody so far for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the other videos and hopefully learned something. Maybe set some goals for yourself and of course the players whose replays I'm casting. Hopefully the goals I've given you here are beneficial and you can definitely be like, hey, you know what, that replay analysis really helped. If you have any comments, you can leave them in the chat if you're watching on my live stream, which is twitch.tv/MrLlamaSC. If you're watching on my YouTube, then you can leave it in the comments below, as I do submit all of these replays to my YouTube afterwards. So whether it's comments about the game, something you didn't like, you could be like, hey, you know, I think that this would have been a more important goal for him. Then you know what, throw that down. Or if you think if you think that my replay analysis is good and you were like, hey, this was really helpful, this especially stuck out to me, you know what, that's really good as well. So here we have T already going for the fast third base. And Probe kind of dodged. T right off the bat, I would just recommend going for a 15 pool, and the reason behind this is right now with his forge he can just drop a pylon right here, and you won't see it in time. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it, and then by the time you're getting over there, hey, the pylon's done. You have 3 cannons or 2 cannons sitting right up next to this. You don't have a pool to do anything. The drone pool would be so long that by the time it got down there, the cannon would be done. It wouldn't be effective, and all of a sudden you lose the game simply because you try to take this 15 hatch right here. So you're lucky he didn't do that. Once you start getting to a little bit higher leagues, that's going to be very, very common. As a Zerg player, I can especially tell you that is very, very common. If you take a 15 hatch here, they'll pylon you in. If you take a 15 hatch here, they'll put pylons up around here, around here, around here, and drop cannons around it, and you just get in a lot more trouble. So I would definitely say pool first. Just go for a 15 pool, and then what I like to do is wait until you go 15 pool, then you drone to 15, take your drone to 16. Get your queen, your overlord, and then a couple sets of lings out, and then you build a 21 hatch here and a 21 or 22 hatch right here. And I find that to be very effective. You will not, they can't cannon you and stuff and make it weird like if you go for a 16 hatch off of it. So it's fairly safe for sure. So just something to definitely think about. Also, something to think about is we are in Platinum League now, my friend, and what do we do in Platinum League? We scout our opponent. If your opponent would have gone for a 2-gate, you would be absolutely dead right now. You would have absolutely nothing to defend it, and he would just have, I mean, you have a spine crawler, but of course it's so much later than when it would hit. So he could have just walked on over and really done some damage. So double check that he's going for that Forge Fast Expand. You can send out a 14 drone scout, and that should be plenty right there. Also, something big, queens, queens, queens. We're already up to 32 supply before we're getting these queens out. And you made a big move around there to drop that off. There we go. So now you do scout up and see that he does have the forge. And you find it funny that he does. Maybe it's because he has this nice gaping hole. But you didn't scout to see if he had a giant hole in his wall. And maybe he never even had a cannon for a long time. You never know. So, being very safe with these spine crawlers. Drone production is rough. Not where we need it to be. A lot of this is coming because your queens don't pop until 7 minutes. That is not at all what you want to have happen. And you're also not getting injects with these queens. So you're moving along. You're moving along into the tech portion of this game a lot faster than just the basics, and I would say for you at 8 minutes I am at 70 supply, and that's probably my average is probably about 69 supply, something like that at 8 minutes, right? You right now are at 45 with a supply block that's been sitting for a long time, and 8 minutes 45 supply. So that's going to be the biggest thing for you. Goal number 1 is 8 minutes. I want you over 62 supply, okay? So 62 supply, if you can hit 65 supply plus, golden. So I want you to simply focus on that, and I want you to go straight into a practice game immediately following this. I want you to play against a very easy computer, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. I want you to take a 15 pool first, then I want you to take a 21 hatch, because that's a guaranteed hatch. Even if he drops a pylon, your lings are out, they kill the pylon. And then I want you to drop a 22 hatch. And you get your queen there. You can build a second queen and transfer this one down, and you can actually probably build a third queen and get all the transfers out, so all of your queens hit right when these are expanding, and maybe even time it before, so you can drop a creep tumor right there and start your creep spread. Because hey, we're just starting it now at this 9-minute mark. If we could have started that a lot sooner, we could have connected all 3 of our bases. So goal number 1 and your biggest goal is get out those drones. You're only at 38 drones at 934. Right now I am at 72 drones and a lot more units, right? So he's gonna hit with this little force right here, and I would imagine that this force is going to do a decent amount of damage. You're throwing up additional spine crawlers, sure, yada yada. Double roach warren, probably a little bit of a mistake. I'm not gonna harp on that too much. You got this lair for what? Why do you have this lair? Are you getting +1? Are you getting speed? Are you going to throw down a Hydroden or an infestation pit or a spire? No, so it's just kind of like a sitting lair right there. I'd imagine you want to kind of think, what are you getting that lair for? So, of course, roach speed would be a huge thing to get that lair for. And now he's just going to push over here. And he doesn't even have a scary army at all. He doesn't even have his entire army there, does he? Yes, he does. Okay, there he is. So that is not a very strong army, and he's going to go wall himself into this little corner, it looks like. I would have chased that. Right. But just because your opponent has a horrible push does not mean that this is going to be a good game for you, right? Simply because your opponent is bad does not allow for you to be bad as well, and that to be acceptable. And I'm not saying like, oh, you're bad, like trying to really BM you or anything like that. I'm saying, hey, there's definitely still a lot of things to work on in this game. Notably, 8 minutes, big benchmark, big benchmark. Like when you play against that very easy computer, just go up to 8 minutes or go up to maxing. Try and max as fast as you can. You can max at 11 minutes, right? If you just go off that pure roach. Try and do that. Don't get supply blocked. You had a couple supply blocks in there that were huge, and that's a big part of it. But a lot of it was simply just the trying to do the 15 hatch and then using drones to kill off the pylon over here, and then throwing the hatch down, and then you were late on your queens to get out, and then you were trying to you're getting your tech down at good times, but you got this lair, and you just started doing something with the lair, or I guess you got roach speed there a little bit later. But there's still so much that you could have done earlier to just have that ball. Look at this. You're at 137 supply right now. You could be beyond maxed. And I mean, of course not literally. Well, as a Zerg, I guess you literally could. But you could be maxed a minute right now before this. Heck, you could be maxed at 2 minutes before this right now instead of sitting at 150 supply. And you could have that same upgrade and everything like that, and you would be just fine. So that's definitely something to think about, because hey, you could have already won the game straight up and had this 4th base down and just been in a better position, probably got some tech off of this, thrown down an infestation pit, and been on. Are you on all your geysers? No, you're not. You still have this one to take right here. And so now you have to be careful, of course. Blah, blah, blah. He doesn't have any sentries. Interesting choice. So your army can probably be decent on this. And we'll see how this goes. There's the sentries. Okay. So very lucky he's not going to have sentries to just force field you and obliterate you right there. And all your roaches need to be engaged in this army. And I would even recommend focusing down that immortal. No, he backed up into the smoke. Alright, so more gonna join up, and you should be able to still win this fight despite this. And possibly win the game off of this. You can still push. Nope, okay. So he's got that cannon. Okay, yeah, you can still push with that army. There you go. Right, so while we're watching this little push, kill off the Immortal, because hey, that's huge. Nice focus right there. Goal number 1. I'm going to throw supply into your goals as well. Goal number 1, I want for you to hit 8 minutes over 62 supply. And I want you to be able to do it a couple of times, okay? I want that to be a big goal for you. I want you to sit there and be able to hit that consistently. So that way when you know what, when there is a probe right there being annoying and stuff like that, you can just not let that affect you. You know, if it does affect you, maybe you drop down to 61 supply, 60 supply. But it won't put you at 45 supply, which is such a huge blow to you. That puts you way below what you could be at, and it'll allow you to max a lot faster. Zerg, the most important part of the game, is up until that 8-minute mark. That is straight up the most important part of the game. Number 2 is going to be your queens. That is going to be goal number 2. Where is this queen? Oh, you're walking them over here to get creep tumor and not building one right there. Your queens are just off. You've had a lot of energy sitting on them. Even when you built those first ones, they sat there for a while. And they were just at the wrong time. They were way too late. They didn't pop out until 7 minutes into the game, which is so late for those queens. You want to have those queens up as soon as these hatches are popping, basically. And that'll be so much more additional larvae. That'll allow for you to get those drones out a lot faster, and that'll also allow for you to get your overlords. Max Zealot versus Roach, interesting choice. That'll allow for you to kind of start making more overlords and just be better. So with your goal 1 comes supply. I think you should just know that. And hey, we don't do offensive GGs. No need for that. But with the getting to the 8 minutes 65 plus supply, you can't supply block as much. So you're going to have to really watch for that, really be proactive and not supply blocking. So that's goal number 1. Goal number 2 was, just forgot it. I said it before. And goal number 3 is going to be, why are we getting this lair and not getting, you know, the immediate upgrade right there that we need, or not throwing down whatever the tech is. It just kind of becomes a silly lair to get, I suppose. You want to have kind of purpose for the lair to be going down, so maybe getting that infestation bit, or getting the +2, like you started at +1 at 6 minutes, and so then you throw your lair down at whatever. How long does the upgrade take? It takes 160 seconds, right? So a little over 2 minutes. So then you start your lair at 8 minutes, something like that. Or you start your upgrade at 6:30. You start your lair at 8 minutes, and then as soon as those two pop, you can basically start your +2 immediately after that, along with your roach speed, and it kind of gives you a lot more idea of a timing that you can make with that. So queens was number 2, right? So I was testing you. What's number 2? It's queens, exactly. Getting your queens at your hatches when they're popping, and injecting with your queens on multiple occasions. And also you can get that creep tumor down really early right there. And if your queens do build up energy, let's say you have 25 leftover energy because you haven't quite been paying attention like you should, go drop creep tumors. You know what? Connect these bases. Use this guy to drop creep right there. Use that guy to, spread more of these. You have so much leftover energy on these queens, you could have been dropping a lot more creep tumors throughout the game and a lot earlier in the game. So those are going to be my 3 goals that I am giving you. And I think that's going to be the last replay, not the last replay of the night. My name is Mr. Llama, and you can check me out, of course, twitch.tv/MrLlamaSC, and I stream at 8 p.m. PST or 11 Eastern, 10 Central every day, except for randomly today where I had a nice little nap and that ran a little bit long. So I had to push it back an hour. But other than that, it's going to be 8 PST, Sunday through Thursdays. Tomorrow is going to be Diamond Wednesdays. So if you're Diamond players, go ahead and start submitting those replays. Get excited for that. I already have I think one replay in there, but looking for more, of course. And if you're any other player, Masters, Gold, Bronze, Silver, submit the replays, and I'll get to them in the next week. So it'll still be able to come up. You can follow me here on my Twitch or my YouTube.com/MrLlamaSC, where I upload all of the videos into all the different parts. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.